Hey guys, my name is Phil, and I'm here to help you with your Microsoft Excel 2010 certification. I'm just going to be running through a couple of the most frequently used tools, I guess, in Microsoft Excel. So with that, let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to show you guys is how to print a set area on the worksheet. So first thing you're going to have to do is select the area that you would like to print out on a single piece of paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click and drag and select this entire graph. Then you go over to the page layout tab, click on the print area, set print area, and it'll automatically now set this print area that I've selected to print out on a piece of paper. So the next thing you guys can do to print a workbook is actually go to the File tab, go to your print option, and right here in the settings you can print only your active sheets in your workbook, or you can actually click and drop down, print your entire workbook, which for me I've got a bunch of sample questions on here, so it'll be pretty big. And then that's all you do, and then you click the print button and you've printed your entire workbook. Okay, so next thing I'm going to show you guys how to do is how to insert header and footers. The first thing you're going to want to do is click on the Insert tab, and then click on the header and footer option. What you can do in this window is kind of cool. You can either click on whichever part of the header you want to do, and with these little hot buttons up here you can have the file name appear, then you can click off, and now all of a sudden you've got, this is the name of the file, sample questions, up in your header. Go to footer, you can do the same thing. One thing that they did have me do on my certification was click on the footer and have you pick like the author, a page number, and the date that this is being recorded, or not recorded, but the date of the document, and it automatically shows up here for you on the footer. So just to let you guys know, that is a question that they do ask on the Microsoft certification. So the next thing you guys can do is to manipulate the printing options is actually, hang on, let's go back to the normal view. So that's down here on the bottom. And so what you can do to access more print options is in this page setup box, you're going to click this little arrow, and that's going to expand the dialog box, and now you have so many more options that you can use to manipulate the printing settings. So you've got all your page settings. You can change it from portrait to landscape here. You can change all the margins, headers and footers, and then your sheet options. So another thing you can do to help personalize your Microsoft Excel is to manipulate the quick access toolbar. So what you do here is you go to your file, you go to Excel options, and then this dialog box pops up, and now you can go to the quick access toolbar option, and now you have a whole bunch of things that you can make, or you can put on your quick access toolbar. So let's say I wanted to put the copy function on there. You just click the copy function, click add, and hit OK, and now all of a sudden the copy function pops up here in the top left. Next thing you guys are going to want to do is save your workbook, save all that work you guys are doing. So you're going to, you can either click and save, and then because this is already a saved file, it's saving into its previously saved area. If I wanted to change the file's location, you click Save As. You can change the name, you can change where it's going, you can change the format of the workbook itself. I will say, again, on the test, they had you change it to a CSV format. So just know that this is how you can change the documents format, because it is a question that is asked pretty frequently on the Microsoft certification exam. So now I'm going to show you guys how to copy and paste through Excel. First thing you're going to want to do is copy the data that you want to copy. So I'm going to select the data in this table. I'm going to go ahead and click Copy in the Home tab in the Clipboard section. And now what that'll do is it'll automatically copy it to my clipboard. If you don't have this showing up, to access your clipboard, all you do is in the clipboard section, you click this dialog box and it'll just show up for you. So a cool thing about the clipboard is you can just click anywhere else on the sheet or on a different sheet or in a different, you can just click it and now you automatically have everything you just copied. So all you do is click it and there you go, you got it again. Another cool thing that you can do with the paste feature is go back up to your home tab, click the paste drop down arrow. Oops, sorry, first you got to select your data. Then you can paste either just the straight values from the table, so the numbers, as you can see, don't have any kind of a formatting, or you can actually do that. You can have just the values with the number formatting, or you can actually just print the same thing, but printing the same thing would be just like taking it from your clipboard. So another cool tool in Excel is the Autofill feature. So basically what this is going to do here is I'm just going to type in some random data, just 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to select this data by clicking and dragging, and then you're going to click this black box in the bottom right hand corner, and what this is going to do, it's going to change your cursor to a plus sign, and that's showing you that you have access now to your autofill tool. So you're going to click and you're going to drag, and now it's going to fill all these different numbers by ones because that's the series that I had initially done, all the way up to 25 for me. So instead of typing in from 1 to 25, I only had to do 1 to 3 and then click and drag all the way to 25. It's not just going to do it for 1s or 2s or whatever. It can go by 10s. You just have to set up the sequence. You got to select the data, click your right bottom corner, make sure the cursor is different, click and drag, and now you can go by 10s. Another cool thing is you can actually do the months of the year. So you type in January, select it, again, click your bottom right hand corner, and you can drag all the way out horizontally or vertically the entire months of the year. So the autofill tool is actually, it's a time saver. It's a great tool. You should get to know how to do it. Very frequently asked on the Microsoft Excel certification exam. It's just something you need to know for that test. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and modify some cell formats. So we're going to go ahead and click on any cell we want to format, and say I want Fusion Tomo to be left justified. So what you're going to do is you're in this Home tab, the alignment group, and you're going to go ahead and click one of these hotkeys. What this will do is it'll left justify it, this one in the center will center justify it, and on the one on the right will right justify it. You can hover over and it'll give you these little help tools just in case you forget, but that's how you would go ahead and center and manipulate the text in a cell. Next thing you can do is you can format numbers. So that's done in the number group on the Home tab, and you can change it from something that is general, which is default. So if I was going to go ahead and type in just random numbers here, it would just show up right justified. No kind of formatting. You went over here to the table and selected it, you can see that right now it says it's on a custom formatting. Well, you know what, I want it on a currency formatting. So you're going to go ahead and click the drop down arrow here, and you can go down to a currency format. So now all the numbers that I just selected are now in a currency format with 2 decimal places and a dollar sign. You have all these different options. You can also do the number formatting dialog box launcher. You get all the same different number formatting from currency, accounting, time, date, all this stuff that you can do. So you also have these hotkeys. This will set it to an accounting. This will do percentages, and this will basically just take away the dollar signs or whatever kind of monetary symbol you have and just have the thousands placeholder. These are hotkeys for decimal removal. So I've got 2 zeros after the decimal here. I don't want any zeros. So you're going to go ahead and click it, and now you don't have any zeros, or you know what, I wanted 3 decimal places. So you go ahead and click this button 3 times, and now I have 3 decimal places. Another thing you can do is wrap text in a certain cell. So say down here in column I write Jane Doe is going to the mall. So as you can see in column I, this text is actually overflowing into column J and K. Well, if you don't want that to happen, you can go over to, in the Home tab, the alignment group, and you can go ahead and hit this wrap text button. What that'll do is if your cell is selected, it'll wrap the text that is overhanging the boundary of column I and continue to put it in column I. So now it's all in one cell. If you don't want that, all you have to do is just click the button again and it'll go back to its overflow onto column J and K. But what this will do is, like, I can still type in column J and just say John is going to the mall. Now both of them are kind of overlapping each other, so you can't really see what's in column I unless you click on it and look at the formula bar. So that's where this wrap text tool comes in handy, because now that you have it selected, you can wrap the text and you can read both at the same time if you wrap the text on both. Another cool feature with Excel is the format painter. So say I want these numbers here, or this group of data down here, to have the same kind of formatting that the top half has. Well, to do that, you have to go ahead and first select what you want to be copied, and in the Home tab under in the clipboard group, you're going to go ahead and click Format Painter. So what this is going to do, it's going to take all the formatting in this area that I selected, and now it's going to copy it to wherever I tell it to. So as you can see, your cursor changed. Now you have a paintbrush. I'm going to go ahead and scroll down, and I'm going to click on Kevin Hart here and go all the way down to the bottom of row 33, column G. You let go, you click and drag and you let go, and now all of it is the same. It just was, the format was copied, and now all of this has the same format as this up here. So that saves you a bunch of time. Instead of, I just undid that there. If you had selected all this data, went to the styles group, had to format as a table, and then you had to spend all this time wondering, well, okay, I know this is a green table, but which green table? So instead of kind of stumbling all over that, or maybe like picking the wrong table, you just simply have to have this selected as your format painter. So we're going to go ahead and select that again, click Format Painter, and click and drag over the area you want to have the same format you just copied. And boom, there it is, it's done. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to merge and split cells. And to do that, you have to first select a cell that you want to merge, which for me is going to be this software sales cell. I want to merge it just like this Fusion Tomo ink is across A2 all the way to F2. So what you're going to do is you're going to click the software sales and you're going to click and drag to select all the way to F2. Then you're going to click this Merge and Center button underneath the Home tab in the Alignment group, and now the text is, or the cells have merged and the text is centered. If you didn't want to center the text, you can go ahead and just click Merge Cells, and what that'll do is it'll just merge the cells that you selected, and it won't do anything to the text inside. Basically, the Merge and Center takes the step out of clicking this little center alignment tool every time you go ahead and merge cells. So let's make this the same. These bottom rows 3 and 4. So we're going to go ahead and click Merge and Center. Do the same thing. Click and drag, Merge and Center. And now say we want Fusion Tomo to be all the way to the left to show that it's a little different from the rest of this. So to unmerge cells, you go ahead and click the cells that you want to unmerge. Click the little drop down arrow in the Merge and Center group, and you're going to go ahead and click Unmerge Cells. And now you can individually click columns B, C, D, E, and F, but you can't do that for the merge cells because they're all merged. It's all one cell. So now if I wanted to add anything else, you can. Now we're going to go and create row and column titles on a printed page. We're going to repeat them. So to do that, we're going to go ahead and click the Page Layout tab in the Page Setup group. We're going to hit the dialog box launcher. Then you're going to go to the Sheet tab, and now you're given all these different options. So the first thing you want to figure out is, well, do you want to repeat all the row and column headings on every single page you print, or do you want to manually pick certain rows at the top, certain columns on the left? So to just do everything, you just go ahead and click the box for row and column headings, and now all the row and column headings will repeat on every page that you print. Or you can manually select it by either manually typing in a certain range, or you can click the launcher and select the range that you want to have repeating. Next is hiding and unhiding columns. So say you don't want column F to show up in this whole data set here, you don't want the total. You're going to click on the column F itself, left click on column F, you're going to right click column F, and then click hide. Now nobody can see this total page, but you want it back now. So you're going to go ahead and click E, you're going to drag all the way to column G, right click, and hit unhide. Now you got column F back again. It's the same process for rows. I don't want Emerson Finch to show up in my table. So you're going to right click row 6. You're going to hide it. Then you're going to, I want it back now. Or I didn't mean to hide him. I meant to hide Victor French. So you click row 5, drag down to row 7, right click, excuse me, and then hit unhide. Now you've got Emerson Finch again. To manipulate page options, it's all within these 3 buttons right here. It's in the Page Layout tab, Page Setup group. You can manipulate margins just by clicking on the Margins button here. This is asked on the Excel certification exam pretty frequently to change it to either narrow or wide margins. So all you would have to do at this point is click on narrow, left click on narrow, and now you have your page settings to narrow. Another thing that's asked a lot is to change the orientation of the page itself. So by default it's in portrait, but it'll always ask you either to put it in landscape or it's already in landscape and you want to switch it to portrait. You just click on orientation and switch the orientation of the page. And lastly, to change the page size, by default it's on the 8.5 by 11 just because that's what most people are printing off of. But as you can see, you've got the different sizes, and it will ask you sometimes to change it to A4 or legal, just to see if you can do that. You can also do a lot of these same things by clicking the Page Setup dialog box launcher, by either going to the Page tab, the Margins tab, to create custom margins. So you can also do that through the Page Setup dialog box launcher. So the last thing in this section is to create and apply cell styles. So a cell style is on the home page, it's in the style group here. All these are considered cell styles. So to create something that's your own, you have to click the bottom scroll bar here, and none of these are what you want. So to create your own, you have to first make it. So I want the number 14500 to have a number formatting, and I want it to be, I want the cell to be filled with a light red. So you want this cell style, but it doesn't exist up here. So you're going to go ahead and click more, you're going to click new cell style as this is selected, and I'm going to call it red number. And what this will do is it takes everything that's in this cell, all the formatting that's done in this cell, and it'll create it up here to be saved as a new hotkey for you, just in case you wanted to use it on multiple cells. That way you don't have to keep doing 4 or 5 steps of number formatting. You can just click the one button. So this is all set. It's got the number, it's got the alignment of it, the font, border, and it's got the fill all set up for me. So I've got this cell style now, but I want this number down here to look like this. So what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and click more again, and now up in the custom bar you've got my red number. So it'll automatically switch it to this same format. I could do it up here if I wanted to, just to show you, you know. Now it's changed from everything else. It's got the accounting instead of currency, and it's got the 2 decimal places instead of the 3, and the red fill. So we're on the last section of this review video, and I'm going to show you guys how to create new workbooks, or not workbooks, excuse me, worksheets, and move them throughout this tab down here. So to create a new worksheet, you can just click this button down here, bottom right of these different tabs for the worksheets, and you can click it. Now I've automatically got a sheet 4. You can click it again, you got sheet 5. Say I didn't want sheet 5, I clicked it one too many times. You're going to right click sheet 5 and you can delete it. Just go up to delete and now it's gone. Now I want sheet 4 to be in between question 3 and 4. So what you're going to do is you're going to click and you're going to drag, and you're going to see this black little caret jumping all over the place here. You're going to want to place it right in between question 3 and 4. Let go of the click, and now you've got your sheet 4 in front of, or in between question 3 and 4. Say I did, you know, and now say sheet 3 actually belongs in a different workbook. This is asked on the Microsoft Excel exam, so this is pretty important to know. You're going to right click on the sheet and you're going to say I want to move or copy this sheet. So you can move it in the sheet or in the workbook that you're currently working in before all these different sheets, or you can hit this little drop down arrow down here and either, you know, copy the sheet to a new book or into a book that already exists. So you will have to do this on the exam, and it's pretty important. Next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to split the view of the workbook here, or the worksheet. And what this is going to do is it's going to split it into 4 different panes that you can scroll through differently. So if you can see these numbers going, I'm all the way down on row 40 down here, but I'm still looking at down here row 1. So it's a pretty good idea if you have a huge set of data and you want to match something from, you know, say row 140 to you know, your 15th row to match up the different data sets. A really important thing on the Excel exam are all these different buttons in the window group of the view tab. You should know what all of these do. A new window basically will copy what is currently on here or in the workbook to a new page. You can see it just popped up behind, and then you're going to use the Arrange All button to either show them side by side, on top of one another. I'm going to go ahead and show them side by side. So now I can look at different questions. I can look at, on this one, sheet 3 if I wanted to, and now I can copy data from one to the other, or you can look at the different data. And another thing you can do here is freeze panes. So to do that, we're going to go to, say you couldn't remember that all these were last names, first names, positions, and so on. So you want to have this repeat at the top while you scroll down through all this data. So you have to click underneath it and to the left of everything that you want it to freeze. And you go ahead and click the little drop down box on freeze panes. Click freeze panes, and now everything, as you scroll down, that whole top row is repeating, so now you won't forget that these are all last names, first names, etc. You can also just, as you saw, freeze the top row or freeze the first column. It's really whatever you want to do. And then you split the screen. I showed you how to do that earlier. And view side by side is just showing these different things. You can either scroll at the same time, which is what the synchronous scrolling button does. Click off, and now I can just scroll through one page, while I'm scrolling through the other, and they're not going to both scroll at the same time.